Everyone, welcome to another Founder Wisdom Podcast / CEO Wisdom Podcast AI edition. Today with us, we have Chirag Jain. He is founder, CEO at Textify AI. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, including OpenAI, ChatGPT, startups in that field, product development, Whisper, API, and ChatGPT plugin, maybe if we're lucky. Chirag, can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about Textify AI?
Hi everyone, I'm Chirag. I'm the CEO at Textify. And as Charles mentioned, we are an AI startup. We work with aggregating AI tools. We want to make it easier for users like yourself to find the right tool and to also pay for them from a single point. We've seen some challenges in the market. There are a lot of AI tools coming out every day, but there is no unified directory to access them. There's also no unified point to access them from and to pay for them. And that is the challenge that we are solving. And just to end off, I would say I'm really excited to be part of this AI revolution.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So what surprised you most about that revolution? When did you knew that something special was happening here? Was it a feeling? Was it data? Was it conversations you had, or just like watching the news?
I think I've been following the AI revolution for a long time. So AI has a track record of disappointing people. It's one industry that has disappointed a lot of people compared to any other industry. Um, it all began, if I have to go into the history, it all began in 1954, the Dartmouth Conference, when a bunch of really smart people got together and they said, AI is a problem we can solve within a week. And the week went by, they ended the conference, they said, there are certain things about AI that we can solve, mostly the technical aspect. What we have found out so far is that the hard stuff about AI, the thing that's hard for us to do, that's really easy to code. So multiplying big numbers, computers can do that really, really good. Following through rational, logical things, that's really easy for computers to do. Whereas the things that it's easy for humans to do, that is really, really hard for computers to do. So there have been 2 or 3 AI winters. I actually started following AI as a topic since 2010. I remember I was reading this book called Brain Matters, and I was reading about John McCarthy. I even actually wrote an email to John McCarthy. If for people who don't know who John McCarthy is, he's actually he's known as the founder or the father of AI revolution. So he was the actual guy who coined the term artificial intelligence back in 1954. So, I got inspired back in 2010. I wrote an email to him asking him for recommendation on this topic. It's been 10 years, maybe 14 years since then. Not much has moved. There were a lot of progress now and then. Neural networks got really, really popular. Machine learning got really popular. There has been a paradigm shift in AI. What you see AI as of now is not what AI was 15 years ago, even 20 years ago. 20 years ago, AI was all about expert systems. You have a bunch of really smart people coming together, and all they would do is they would talk to experts. They will do an if and else kind of coding. And once they succeed in that, they release that product to the public. But the kind of AI that we are working with right now has very little coding and a lot of data set. So in terms of data set, we need a lot more data set, but in terms of coding, it's very automatic. So that's the paradigm shift. And to answer the last question that you asked me, when did I really see that sort of tipping point in AI? I would say that was the year 2020, when GPT-3 was launched. That was the time when we knew, and all of us knew, that something big is going to happen in AI. And that got me interested.
Yeah, what about GPT-4? Because I think 80% of the interest is really with GPT-4 and its potential. Why do you think GPT-4 is catching up more than GPT-3?
Well, GPT-4 is probably mostly hyped. I would say GPT-3 has proven its point. It has proven its capability. It's being used by developers openly. GPT-4 is not available for developers. It's only available through a waitlist, which means it's not publicly available. There are still issues with how you can go and access it, but GPT-3 is openly available. So I would say in terms of capability, GPT-3 is a proven model. GPT-4 is mostly hyped, and until it becomes openly available to the public, I cannot comment on that.
Um, GPT-4 is, I mean, it's open to the public right now. So what do you
It's
mean?
only through a waitlist. There is a waitlist for GPT-4. You can apply for the waitlist. So I'm also on the waitlist. I'm not having the access as of now.
You still don't have the access?
I don't have the access. But we've applied for the access 2 weeks ago. We haven't got it.
Okay. I think I've got it for quite some time on my side. I mean, I'm purchasing the pro plan, so not sure if that the plus plan.
Is
So
it ChatGPT or GPT-4?
GPT-4, yeah.
No, I don't have access to it yet.
Okay, interesting. Well, GPT-4, the main difference I would say with three is the ability to understand your communication, your lack of communication slash IQ. Um, so you ask it something, and in your brain, you kind of know what you're asking, but it's still like a bit blurry. And this thing, it just understands what you mean pretty much all the time, you know? While if I would ask you a vague question on your side, you'd be like, what do you mean? Uh, and then I'd have to explain you and then try to dig deeper while this GPT-4 thing is just point on, right on all the time, pretty much. So um that's the game changing part of it. And I think that's it's not the hype, it's this, it's really that people, most humans, they don't really know what they want, or how to formulate what they want, aka creating new neurons almost. And this thing, it literally helps them. It's more than autocomplete, is like autocomplete but on steroids.
Right. I have seen a lot of demos of GPT-4. Unfortunately, I can't verify any of that until I get access myself.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us a bit more about Textify AI and what you guys do.
Sure. So what we found out, we've been in the AI space for almost 2.5 years, and what we realized is that, being in this industry, yes, the pie is growing. AI industry itself is expected to grow 37% CAGR, cumulative annual growth rate, which means, every 2 years the AI industry is supposed to double. Now, being in an industry like this, it's really exciting because, just being there, the pie is growing and there is demand. But you also have to bet on the right thing because not everything will grow at the same rate. We looked at the whole AI ecosystem. We realized that essentially there are five big sectors, five big players, five big sectors. One is the AI hardware manufacturers. So these are the people such as you got AMD, you got NVIDIA. These are the big players. They have invested billions of dollars and they've been investing in it for the last 10 years. As a startup, we could have never competed with players like NVIDIA and AMD. Intel is also trying to get in that rank. So we could have never competed in that rank. The next up are the AI models, like large language models such as OpenAI. You have Lambda, and you also have other models that are being created. These positions, to be in that industry, you have to have a lot of really skilled, talented people, access to these kind of people. You would also require lots and lots of computational power to succeed in that. So I can only think of two or three companies that have actually succeeded in making powerful AI models. That could be OpenAI, there's Cohere, there is also Google and Facebook in those ranks. Again, the capital requirement is pretty high to compete in that sector. Right up, you have the companies who are using these models to build AI applications. So these are front-end AI applications. This could be anything like, Grammarly using some third-party APIs or models to refine it and build their product on top of that. This could also be a lot of these different AI startups that are coming out using OpenAI APIs to build their product on top of that. One of the sectors that I missed was data collection. This is an industry that's very critical to the whole AI environment. So anywhere, from images to text, there's a lot of requirement of data. This could be people collecting images, annotating them, and selling it to AI developers. We wanted to get into that business as well, but it's a very manual and labor intensive process, and we didn't see much scope for us to scale up in that industry. Now, coming to the final, right, of all the way from hardware to data set to AI models to building AI applications on top of large language models, finally it comes to AI platforms. This is the industry that we expect to grow heavily, mostly because AI is becoming highly democratized. There are going to be, well, even today, there are hundreds of AI applications coming out. And we want to be right there in that position where hundreds of AI applications are coming out, and we are providing the platform for them to distribute and commercialize. That's got us interested in this last sector.
And isn't OpenAI going to get into this?
OpenAI, for now, as far as we've been following their track, they're mostly interested in the tech. So you look at how their team is set up, they're mostly tech-oriented people who are interested in building the best AI model out there. But we haven't seen much of PR or marketing from their side. So we don't think they would be interested in a B2C side of this industry.
Okay, B2C, but yet, like for the market side of things, Open AI plugins, have you looked into this?
Oh, yes, we have.
Okay, because they're gonna build their marketplace and they're gonna be the kind of app store, right? Which is, I think, what you were referring to.
Not technically. What they're building is a plugin store, which is goes right into their Chat GPT. I would say can plug right into Chat GPT. It has its benefits, but again, the benefit that we have as an AI model agnostic player is that we don't need to worry about which one has the best technology. So today it's OpenAI. What if Google comes up with a better model? OpenAI just cannot compete. We can, because we are agnostic to both OpenAI and Google models.
Sure. There's going to be, multiple of these app stores. Google's certainly going to deploy one. It's kind of interesting to see that other contenders are kind of silent in this market. Apple, and that's worrying for them. Amazon also has been pretty quiet so far. And then the question is, will there be a hardware war in there as well? Because if you own the hardware, you pretty much have an easier time owning the software as well. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the reason why the big players are not actively fighting in the space yet, so you do see Microsoft and Google fighting on the outskirts of these, this industry, but they're not actively fighting in the center yet. And the reason is because AI hasn't proven to be profitable yet in the B2C segment. This is where, if you look at a giant like Microsoft and Google, they have enough resources to be at the center of this. They are launching products. So, Google is putting AI into their Google Docs and Google Worksuite. You have Microsoft also bringing the same to Microsoft Search or Bing. But you still haven't seen a large-scale deployment on their side because AI still hasn't shown the potential to make money on a B2C segment.
Because OpenAI is also very much B2C, where people would congregate, I would guess. I would even argue that, it's probably 20-30% B2C. What do you think about these stats?
OpenAI before ChatGPT was largely B2B. Mm-hmm. So what OpenAI would do is it would allow businesses to use their API, and then those developers can access those APIs and build on top of it. With ChatGPT, yes, they have turned their attention to the B2C market, but still, I haven't seen very good revenue numbers from the B2C side of OpenAI.
What about your pricing model or your revenue model? So I commented recently that OpenAI's ChatGPT model with the ChatGPT Plus was kind of lacking of innovation, right? Just charging $20 a month to have access to early features, which is worth it. But from their side, I think it's not enough. Maybe they should charge per usage or another more innovative pricing model. With Textify.ai, your revenue model right now seems to be ads. How do you think that will scale, and what do you think could be the ultimate pricing slash revenue model here?
Right. So, right in this AI industry, we have seen one big challenge, and that is AI is jumping off, taking all the inheritance from the SaaS industry. 99% of AI applications are in the freemium sector, where you have most of the access for free, and then you have some hardcore users who will have to pay for that application. But it doesn't really translate very well in the AI domain because the applications are heavier. So, for example, you look at ChatGPT for search, Google search, if it costs, let's say, $1 for 10,000 search, ChatGPT would cost at least 5 times more. And that's just assuming that you are making plain searches. If you're making very complicated searches, then you would require to pay more per API call. So somehow you have to work out a way to monetize this. You have to work out many different ways to monetize it. The way we work with it is also, we have advertisements. Somehow it works out for us because the cost of, let's say, an OpenAI API call is roughly $1 for 1,000. It's about 2 cents for 1,000 tokens, or let's say $1 for roughly 200,000 token size. And that's kind of what we can earn from ads revenue. We also do sell a membership, premium membership, where people who are using our platform can skip over the ads. They can also get access to some premium apps that we have from our partners, and can also, just be dedicated at their work with our membership plan.
Got it. I see like a diagram on your website of where Textify is in this market. Have you thought of remaking this diagram, but just with companies like OpenAI, Bard, and put yourself in the nice middle there?
That is a suggestion we will act upon. We
Yeah,
haven't considered it like that, but we will act upon that,
yeah,
definitely.
that'd be like instant download. Um, you've been backed by various organizations, so you've run to NVIDIA's program, I believe, Angel List. Also, Angel List, was that like someone that invested with you, a private fund through Angel List? Was that it?
Yes.
Pretty cool. What's your plan? What do you want to do with that capital?
Well, let's see. So, in terms of the companies that have backed us, that includes Microsoft for startups. There's Nvidia. There's also the AWS Activate program. AngelList themselves have directly invested in us. There's Freshworks. How do we plan to use all these resources? First, we are building the one of its kind membership program for AI. What we have seen is that AI applications are really, really easy to make, considering, we have democratized the whole process all the way from, let's say, if you were building a website 25 years ago, 20 years ago, you would need a physical server in your house, and then you can go online. That's not the case anymore. Now you have cloud, so you can just go onto AWS, get some computation power, and start hosting your website. The same thing with dataset. If you go 10 years back, there were no open dataset. There were not even companies who would sell you datasets. But now we do have companies. You can just go on to these companies, tell them what your requirements are. They have series of workers who can work on that, and get you the data set. The same thing with models. Models are already available. Hugging Face has over 20,000 models that you can choose from. So it's becoming highly streamlined, highly democratized how to build that application. There are still two challenges that we face. First is distributing that app. Once you build an app, how do you get it in front of the people who really want to use AI applications? Well, there is Twitter, there is forums, but as more and more apps are coming out, the space that you can get, the amount of free advertising that you can get for building a new app, it's getting lower and lower. And second thing is monetization. As I said, we do need to innovate in how we monetize these apps, because the previous models that we use for monetizing SaaS-based applications are not valid in this paradigm of AI applications. So that's also the thing that we are trying to solve with AI.
How is NVIDIA taking part of this AI arms race? How will they grow in the next 5 years, and what strategies are they currently putting forward?
Well, NVIDIA is the king in this AI revolution. I would say people talk about OpenAI as being the centerpiece of this AI revolution. I would say, well, if there was an OpenAI, there would be somebody else. But NVIDIA is really the king. Their position is, well, quite enviable, but I don't really envy them, because they have been investing in that setup, I would say 15 years, 20 years. They have been in that industry for that long. And they have invested billions of dollars to get where they are. So they are perfectly positioned. They're, I guess, their CEO is one of the richest people on earth right now, and he's also one of the most powerful people in the top 10 of the Times most powerful people list. NVIDIA really is positioned to be at the center of this AI revolution. There are no competitors that even come close to NVIDIA, and they have a very strong moat to defend their territory.
What is that moat? Because in my
It's,
knowledge, they were like a hardware startup. What is their moat?
it's their technology. It's patented. It's the scale at which they develop it. They're cheapest at making CPUs. They're cheapest at making high quality GPUs. Um, you look at cloud providers, right? So most of us, when we're developing an AI application, we would use either AWS or Azure for getting those GPUs. But AWS and Azure would end up getting all those GPUs from NVIDIA. So you're looking at easily millions and billions of dollars of recurring business every year for NVIDIA.
And again, what's their moat? Is it just the client base that they have and their reputation? Because couldn't they get like thrown off the boat by quantum computing tomorrow?
Quantum computing is going to take some time. Just like AI, people have been hearing about AI for the last 50 years, and I would say it's almost here. The AI moment has arrived. Quantum computing has also been in the public domain for the last 20-25 years. But it's going to take some time, because there are some challenges. There are some safety challenges as well. So when you look at AI was something that was developed quite openly. There's a lot of collaboration with AI. But quantum computing is something that would be driven by large state-driven projects. So I would say something like U.S. Army or Indian Army or French Army. They are having those labs in their units to have and to make progress on quantum computers, because once a very powerful quantum computer is disclosed, it can crack a lot of these codes, right? It can crack many of these safety features that we have, the RSA keys, and information on the internet will not be secure anymore. In terms of
Yeah.
how I would benefit from quantum computers, it's still controversial, because the computation between AI and quantum computers is not exactly the same. Quantum computers are really good at solving NP problems, which is requires you to go through a lot of lots and lots of options to find the optimal solution. Whereas GPUs, the one that's core for AI revolution, are really good at having multiple cores and processing multiple amount of informations at the same time.
I think I'd invest in Nvidia stock. Um,
I
if,
think
if
you're too you're too late, Charles.
yeah, but well, I think it's gonna, according to what you said, it should like 10x or something like
You should.
that.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, interesting convo we had today. I'm curious, where can people find out more about you, Chirag?
Sure. I'm available on LinkedIn. I'm available on, you can find more information about what we are doing on our website. We are also releasing podcasts sometimes. So if there's anybody who's interested in joining us on a conversation there, that's another place they can join us. We also have an AI directory where we feature some of the most interesting AI tools that we see around. So they can find more about the efforts that we are putting in that directory as well.
Love it. So that is textify.ai for the website and Chirag Jain on LinkedIn.